Hello, everyone, and welcome to the open mic session of the Speak Up Mastery program of Living Life. To let you know, at least the people who are joining us for the first time, Speak Up is a part of an initiative of our brand called Living Life, wherein we take various sessions on personality development, communication skills, life skills, and so much more. But today's session is always close to our heart, the open mics, because this is where we get to listen to all of you, where my speaking part goes for a pause and you share your stories, your experiences, and that's how the learning across happens. They all say that you learn when you listen to other stories and you realize of how you could have found solutions to your issues too at times. Today's session is all about stories and memories. Something which I read really stuck to my heart. That memories are timeless treasures that are stored in our heart. Sometimes so deep that we have forgotten where we have kept these. But stories are something which take these treasures out of our heart, put it on a platter, and serve it to people around us. And that's how our memories become endless. I remember when I was a kid, and my grandmother used to read out Panchatantra story, her life stories, experiences, what she used to do as a child. Probably all those stories would have been somewhere with her now in the heaven. But I know that those stories will be with me and for the generations to come who will be listening to these stories, probably from me and so many. So hopefully my kids and their kids too. And that's the beauty of stories. One thing which I absolutely believe is that many of us say that we can't tell stories. Right? It's so difficult. I don't know how to tell a story. But the best part about this thing is that we all are storytellers. We all live our life in the form of a story. And that is why every single thing, tips and bits happening around us forms a part of stories. Have you ever heard two women chit-chatting on the door of how the life has been, how the day has been? Isn't that a story? Have you ever been to your office and somebody asked you, hey, how was your day? What happened? And then you had a story to tell that person of how horribly bad your day was. And you would have never expected your boss to not give you an appraisal probably. And the best part of stories is that they help create stronger connections with people around you. Because when you tell a story, you are pouring your heart out, your memories out, your emotions out, your expressions out, and probably the most hidden part of yours out. And that is why stories is something which connects to all of us. Today, in this particular session, what we will be doing is that all of you will be sharing your stories of that one memory that has stuck strongly to you. It can be a story of achievements, a story of failure, a story of loss, or a story of finding yourself. But just remember, this story is going to connect you all today in this particular meeting. After you leave this meeting, 1 hour later, you would all know at least one part of each other's lives, and that will bring you somewhere, somewhere probably much closer to yourself. And who knows, you might find answer to your problems as well here. Because sometimes when we don't know what to do, other stories tell us what can be tried. So are we all ready for the session today and to explore each other's life? Thumbs up, heart, anything? Amazing. So what you have to do is simple. You will be given a time limit of 2 to 3 minutes. Wrap up your story as tight as possible. I know when it is stories, sometimes we do become emotional, but there are others also into the meeting room who are waiting to tell their stories. Although I understand that if it is an intense moment going on wherein you want to just pour it out, we won't be stopping you right then and there. right? But just to respect each other's time, try to keep the story in 2 to 3 minutes. There is no restriction on what particular kind of memory or story you want to share. But I would suggest pick up one story which has been the most important story of your life. Do not be scared or think twice whether I should speak it out or not, because probably that story is waiting to be heard. Let's start today. Can I have okay, let's start with somebody who's not from the Speak Up inner circle but is joining for after a long time. Hasnuddin sir, I have missed your stories a lot and I would love to listen back your story. Hasnuddin sir, you're there?
He's outside, so possibly we can give him time if he's.
I'm listening, but I'm in the group of other people, so I'll tell my story at the end, maybe after some time, please.
Sure, no problem, sir. Okay. May I also please ask OnePlus, which is Dhiren, to rename himself so that I don't call you by your phone's name, but your name. Okay. Let's go ahead with hi Pragya, thanks for joining us. Let's start with Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna, what story do you have in the box for us today?
So it was in zoo, I would say, in Hyderabad Zoo. It was like somewhat 10 years old story. So we went to zoo and like in those days, like for 10 to 20 rupees, we will have 1 hour cycling there. So what I did was I went for cycling, and me and my cousin brother, we both went cycling. But don't know what happened. Suddenly, I got disappeared in some other place, and because of it, I was searching where is my cousin brother. Where and back in the days, I didn't have phone at Geo. Nothing was there like, at that time. So that time, what happened? I went very far and asked some person a phone, and I ringed up my father where he is, and with some landmarks, I just started to go. But initially, I didn't understand because the zoo is actually very big. So slowly I went and I reached where my parents were. But why that story is very close to my heart is I cannot forget it, because like disappearing from one place, it is generally not what I do. So that's unforgettable story.
That's nice, Sri Krishna. Okay, how about Dhiren? Dhiren, what is your story?
I'm thinking about it. What story to tell?
Do you have so many, or you don't remember it now?
I'm not trying to recollect a good story right now from my memories. If you can give me some time, I can come up with some good story.
Sure, no problem. Okay, let's go with Madhu then. Madhu.
Hi, Pragya. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I would like to share one dangerous, but later, right now, it's a funny, but at the time, it's really a scary one. For many of us, it's a dream to go Goa. First time is a dream. Okay. So a few years before, we planned to go along with official office friends, because due to the office work as well as some festival is there in November, Goa every year. So we are everyone excited because most of us is a first time. And around 6:30 somewhere we catch the bus at Mayapur, the Paulo Travel. Still I remember the name. At the 1 o'clock or 1:30, sometimes some people are woke up and all those things. Suddenly what happened, we don't know. I also completely not in sleep. Suddenly the bus turned two ways, flopping, something like that. Everyone scared, and everyone don't know what happened and where we are, and because it's around 1 or 1:30. Everyone is excited, and with what's our tomorrow plans, till some time we spoke and we slept. But luckily, by God's grace, no one hurt. But later we found out that just no, there is a fields are there nearby, and there is one buffalo came suddenly. Then one lorry just no struck in the buffalo, no, the front wheels. That lorry hit by our bus, and two fields like this happened. And here one interesting story. Actually, last week also I connected with this. Immediately, that is like I can see just small mirror kind of the thing. I hit with my leg and I came out. But later so many people said, "Oh, where are we? We don't know." At that time, you kick the glass. That's fine. But whether we are in deep somewhere where we should not get in, or you don't think anything. Directly you wanted to go like hero. But at that time, I didn't have any thought because I don't know what happens at that time. But some people are followed me. That is a one interesting thing. But to addition this, we almost around till 5 o'clock, we survived there. Some people came, and then we got a call. You want to come back to Hyderabad or Goa? And everyone said Goa, because after this also, because no one hurt, but luckily only two elder people are just they have some knee pains, but they moved to hospital, but not at that much danger. But one more thing, that Goa Ghat roads. Before that, I had a fried rice with coconut oil. I am not that much, is coconut. That Ghat roads, that Boswell are given this much of big size cover to vomit. That also, last night something happened completely, that Ghat roads and circle and fried rice with coconut oil, that is also big miserable. And not only me, many people. Okay, and that is also happened. And one fellow requested for some money because he don't have the money, because whatever he has, he paid for that Polo Travels. And we paid, and he said, once we reach the Goa, I'll pay it. But suddenly once we reached there, that guy disappeared. I given for my pocket money 500 rupees, stranger. I thought maybe he will give it. But some things are happened, but end of the day, we went, and still that's a memorable moment. We enjoyed a lot, went to beaches and all places. So that I never forget. Thank you.
Did you go back to Goa again, Madhu, after all of this?
Yes, definitely I'll go.
That's nice. Okay. I am surprised that people are so dedicated to go to Goa that even after the accident, going back home was not an option. Let us go to Goa. Whatever happened.
Nothing has happened to anyone. Otherwise, something has happened to somebody, then that is good. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yes, Dinesha.
I want to live long with my memories. I always try to capture photos or videos, whatever happens in my life. One way of capturing it to photos, second way is making videos. Because I don't have memories how I spend my childhood. That is the reason I am creating a lot of memories. My son, from the born till now is 6 years almost. I am trying to capture most of the memories, making videos, uploading into YouTube video. I have come across there are people, there are like 1% of people negative always. We cannot change those people. One fine day, my father and my son were dancing in my hometown. I recorded that video and uploaded in the social media. One gentleman from my native itself, he commented on that video, "Oh my God, still what I have to see from this eyes. Like me, there's nonsense things I have to see from his eyes." That's what he like commented. It got disturbed me a lot. Why people will comment like this? My intention is to, my father now 70 years and my son is like almost 4 years. Both were like very good match. They were like background song, like edited very well. Even though I got this kind of comment. And second incident, spirituality. Everybody will believe that there is a one more behind that our power. There is one more God. I started practicing Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra on daily basis. Once I practice, I create a video and I started uploading in the social media. In that also one gentleman commented, "Do you leave all those things, do your work." Like that he is commented. Even I know there is a 1% people we cannot satisfy. 100% people we cannot satisfy. Even though there is a 1% people, they will hate us. That also disturbed me a lot. Like on that night, I could not able to get sleep. The background, there is a reason, because from past 4 months I didn't have a job. same as connected. I don't have a job. At the same time, I am utilizing my day free time in making this kind of videos, practicing my communication skill and all. That disturbed me a lot. And later, after like 1 week, I didn't do any videos. That much. Even though I'm very much positive, I listen to motivation speaks. I always spend with the positive people, even though that much disturbed. What I'm trying to connect is being up to the level of positive. Sometime it will go behind our level. We will lose our motivation or self-confidence. Later, I discussed with my wife and said this is what happened, because my wife didn't know other things. He said, you know very well about yourself, whatever the contribution or whatever you want to do, why you want to bother about these people? You only some time back, you said like, this kind of people will be there in the society. And again, like it is becoming a boost once again. I changed my gear and restarted my social media, Vishnu Sahasranama Sotra. What I want to conclude here, we cannot satisfy everyone. There will be like 1%, 1 to 5% people, negative people. And there are 95% people are there to love us. We have to live for 95% people, not for this 5% people. These are all useless haters. That's what I would like to conclude in this. Thank you.
To Dinesha, and I think what most of us are always bothered about, those 5% people, they decide and design our life in a way that, you know, I remember this thing. So I had a very strict take on this thing. Whenever something happening in normal middle class families, people would always say, what are you doing? What will people say? What are you doing? What will people say? So in Hindi, they will all be like, you know, whatever I do, my grandmother, my mother, everybody in the house will be like, "Arey, 4 log dekhenge to kya kahenge?" So that was a patent dialogue on anything which did not fit into their idea of being correct. One fine day, I got so irritated with this idea. I asked them, "Okay, fine, I will do whatever you want me to do. First, you tell me who are these 4 people interfering in my life every single day." You know, that was, I got so irritated with that. Like, you give me the names of those 4 people, I will do whatever you want me to do. And obviously they did not have, you know, kind of names and all. Okay. Who next? Ellen, would you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm audible, right? But traveling, voice is okay, right?
Okay, your voice is fine.
Yeah, just I want to share my life story. What will happen? My parents, they used to ask me, when you're going to get married. So like that, they will start asking me. I'm actually out of from my hometown. So I used to tell, okay, next year, like that. Then what happened? I thought, okay, the age is going on. So you have to get married now. I said, okay, I will come next month. I will come and see that girl. Like that, you know, right? Lot of protocols will be there. Lot of things will be there. I used to come. Sometimes I see the photos and I tell, no, she will not suit for me. Like that, I used to tell. Reason how I will believe in my life. Just I'm seeing that photo means I need to get something okay. Like that. That's it. Apart from that, nothing. So my sister, friends and all, they used to tease me like that. If you're doing means you want only Aishwarya Rai or something. So like that they used to tease me. So after some time, I told my mother and father, they used to worry. This is actually age is there. You have to. We need to do our whatever the things, right? They have to do like they used to tell. Then after certain time, what I told them, still I will take care of my life. No need to worry. I will take care of like that. Then I suddenly told actually my company, they told someone actually they are looking for a groom like that. So then I told my parents actually I have seen seen some girl, not seen my girl means they told this is they are also looking like that. So then suddenly her father only came and meet me and everything they told. And then I informed to my parents like that. My parents told actually you are from Tamil Nadu, they are from other state, Kerala, sorry, Karnataka like that. Then the discussion started, but then I told actually, okay, I'm liking means I will, once I decide means I will not listen anyone. Like that I will be. My father's also, he used to do, but I will do double. So then I told this is so and so like. Then they are also okay like the video. Then suddenly COVID came. So we both said the invitation. They started invitation. I only one card I had given to my friends, only playing cricket group only I given. Others I have not given any card like that. Then I get some intuition. My parents I told you need to start today night, the 21st March. If you're not started means if you're not coming, I will get married. I will send photo to you. Like that, intuition I get. Suddenly they started and came like that. So first we'll 500% like that we thought during COVID. Next 500 became 250, 250 became 25, 25 became 2. My in front of my father and mother only I got married. I like that. I actually that marriage still I remember. You my friend they called me like that person. I like that you someone get married like that. I said not like that. That is me only. So like that my some of the friends they taken put it in YouTube. So like that my life started. So it's a fantastic story to me. Thank you.
It's amazing. Okay, who would want to go next? Uma ma'am?
How many of you will feel thrilled if a letter written by you goes to your loved one in a jiffy? And especially if the loved one is around more than 500 kilometers away from you. So this story happened 30 years back, maybe 31 years back. My husband was in a rural center near Gulbarga called Madhaniparga. He was working in SBI there, and I was in Bangalore. I had to be away from him for a few months. And then it so happened that a train called Udyan Express used to go from Bangalore to Bombay via a place called Dudni, which was the nearest place for the bank people to go to that rural place called Madhaniparga. So the bank jeep used to come to Dudni and pick the bank staff and take them to the rural center. So it so happened that my neighbor was traveling to Pune by this Udyan Express. And it immediately flashed to me, why can't I give a letter, handwritten letter to him so that it can be handed over to the jeep driver in Dudni at the tea stall. So I immediately, his name was Madhu. And I asked him, Madhu, can you do this for me? He said, why not? And how much time will the train stop there? He asked me. I said only maybe for 2 to 3 minutes. So the previous day itself, in the previous letter, 1 week back, I had written to my husband saying that this may happen and you may get a letter from the neighbor on the same day, and he's traveling on such and such a day. So the letter was given to Madhu, and he had somehow the tie-up was done, and he got down in Dudni. He handed over the letter to the tea stall fellow, and he was told to hand it over to the jeep driver. And the same day itself, like I had written the letter the previous day, the next day the letter reached my husband. So it was so nice that those days there was no phone or anything, and reaching your message to your loved one and feeling that happiness is you should really experience it. So I felt really good. I don't know whether any of you have experienced it, but that was the story which came to my mind. I just kept on thinking, what story should I tell? I thought this will be a good one. So always when you're proactive, some thoughts come to you like this, and if you make it a reality, nothing like it. Over to you.
I must say that he would have felt as happy and excited as probably, when you would have felt at that point of time. Okay, Dhiren, you raised your hand. Would you like to go next? Dhiren, are you there? Yes, Hasnuddin, sir.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. Actually, I have a memory of my childhood. I remember I was like around 10-year-old. That time we were in the small town in Andhra. So one day what happened, there was some possession going on in front of my house. It's like that they were going as a position. They are carrying one goat, black color goat, to give bali kind of things to goddess. That was, I think, their festival. One festival rally was going on in front of my house. I got so much attracted to their, the drums, beats, and dance, all this. At that age, I was just following them. I was enjoying that their happiness and rally, all these things, the way they were going forward. Actually, this rally was going to that goddess place in the outskirts of the town. I followed them. I don't know where I was going with them, and actually I lost my way with them, and I don't know how to come back to home at that age. And I even forgot that my mother is waiting for me at home. She may be worried, all these things. So I think by evening I came to know that I have to go back to home. It was like, from the afternoon to, I think, evening, my mother was really suffering at home, getting worried where the son has gone, and she was inquiring here and there. So by that time I realized that, oh, I missed my house and my mother must be waiting for him. She must be very angry with me now. She will definitely beat me now. Then I asked my friend of that age, "Well, what shall I do now?" He said, "Oh, I know your house. I will take you back to home." On back to home, he gave me one idea, which he usually do at home whenever his mother gets angry or wants to beat him. He gave me one idea that okay, definitely your mother will be very angry, she wants to beat you like anything because you are out of the house without telling for hours. So I have one trick for you. When she was about to beat you, you just bend in front of her, go down, submit yourself. So I thought, okay, this will work. Anyhow, when I went back home, my mother started to screaming. She was about to beat me. Then I bow down her. When I bow down her, she doesn't know what to do. When I oppose or give excuses, maybe she will have more angriness to beat me. When a son submits himself that he has done a mistake, my mother didn't know what to do with that. Then instead of beating me, she started hugging me and crying on that time. So why I remember this situation incident always is, now I have 4 kids. Whenever they do this kind of things, I remember that I was once upon a time I was also like that. So there is nothing new, but it is but natural. So this always keeps coming into my memory. Back to you.
Yes, Nudin sir. Hope you share the trick with your kids and other people around too. They might need it. So when I was a kid, okay, my grandmother was always on my side, and my mom would always be very serious, and she would be very angry with a lot of things. So whenever I did something, my grandmother told me, "You start crying before she starts hitting you. You start crying." That will be the best way, because that way she will not hit you. She will rather be trying to console you. So that was a tip trick for me, which really worked at times. That was one thing. Okay, Chandra, what's your story? Or what is your memory?
Uh, After joining inner circle, I feel that I'm repeating the same mistake when I was in the school. So I written a small story. So I want to share. When I was in the school, I did only 3 things: eat, sleep, repeat. Punctual, hard work, dedication, courage are characteristic of good student, not me, because I was the opposite all of that. But me, I was the most outstanding student of the class. Yes, I was standing out of the class. Let me tell you how. My physics class. My physics class teacher was very hot, tempered teacher. The only thing common between us was he would worry always what I'm doing in the class. I don't do it because he is doing. These similarities makes us living two different persons. I was always sit at last bench to cover myself from the lecture because when lecture starts, I feel sleepy. When he get to know that I am feeling sleepy, he just point out me, calling, "Hey Amitabh Bachchan, come and sit at the front bench." Class rules was different at the time for punishments to boys. Whoever won't answer the question, whoever comes late to the class, who sleeps in the class, they has to sit beside the girl. And I was the only person who break the rule and opt the punishments many times. My physics sir is not only my school teacher, he was also my tuition teacher. I was always targeted in class as he wants me to get perfect in all the subject. When seminar starts in the class, he always pick the topic which I don't know to answer, and he always gives me time to cover all the points in the time. Sometimes I get delayed to submit my notes in class, so things repeated many times. My physics sir made me to stand outside entire period. My dear friends, back in 2009, I actually busy for the most outstanding student of the year. That day I learned one thing. Sometime in life, you need to stand out to be outstanding. The punishment I received from my teacher is lesson to my life. Thank you.
Amazing, Chandra. I hope now you will not be an outstanding student in inner circle. No, actually, now you will have to be an out waiting student because you will be in the waiting room if you are late. Okay, Ellen, would you want to go ahead? Ellen,
I will go next. Yeah, I will go next.
sorry?
Next, I will go next. Next.
Okay, okay, no problem. Okay, Pragya, share your story. Not this Pragya, that Pragya.
Okay, so my story is something related to my career life, and it's all about the struggles which I faced in my CA finals. It was very difficult to keep facing your failure results and this crying and all those emotions. But the funny part was when I decided let's quit CA. It was the time when my family abandoned me, that we don't want a kid who always speaks failure, failure, failure word. So they somehow sent me to Jaipur. Okay, do whatever you want to do, but don't stay in this house. If you have to stay in this house, that's the clear word. You can't say a fail word on you. You can't keep on saying that I'm a failure, I'm a failure, failure, failure. And when I shifted to Jaipur, I thought let's prepare for GMAT. So I came to Jaipur once and thought let's prepare for GMAT for an MBA exam. The auto rickshaw driver, I don't know how he got to know that I'm coming for some coaching or some sort of things. Maybe he thought that these days people are coming for, I don't know what was his perspective. But all of a sudden he said, "Ma'am, there is an amazing coaching here, which is very nice." And I said, "Okay, so what?" So he said, "Let me took you a drive to that coaching center." And I was looking for a GMAT coaching and I have my own addresses. So he said, "This coaching will come in between the roads where we are traveling. It will be in between that location." I said, "Okay, that's fine." And he took me and he stopped the auto rickshaw in front of a CA coaching. And I was like, what's happening this? I have decided to quit. And now he's coming back and letting me at it. And that I thought maybe there's some connection between some or the other things. So I went inside the coaching and discussed about the exam papers and all those things. And then again, sit in the auto rickshaw and told him, "Okay, now drop me at the coaching center where I want to go." And when it doesn't happen once, it happens so many times that whenever I thought, let's quit it, some or the other way, unnotifyingly or notifyingly, unintentional, I would say. Maybe something comes up and it pops CA on my head. And I was like, okay, fine. And that's how I decided, okay, let's give one more try to the CA attempt. And I become chartered accountant in this attempt. And then I realized that the story of why I started this journey of CA was from Jaipur only. I came for a college that I want to study in that college, but somehow I was not happy with that college, and I got a suggestion, let's do chartered accountant. And I left Jaipur city to do my CA from another city. And then today I was realizing tomorrow is my convocation day in Jaipur only. I'm going to get my degree finally in Jaipur. And then I realized it's a loop. This circle started from Jaipur. The thought of becoming a chartered accountant started from Jaipur. And that's the reason, after so many failures, after so many things, I don't know how I get again to Jaipur. And now it's like convocation also happening in Jaipur of this. And that's how the things got connected. So I think that the people say the story has a happy ending. So maybe Jaipur city has planned this happy ending for me of this course, and that's why it happened. So that's my story.
Did you know, Pragya, that Ganesha himself was driving the auto?
Probably, I don't know. Even everybody is asking, how can an auto driver took you to a CF coaching without
even realizing he was Ganesha Bulke?
Probably.
Was he fat, chubby, asking for laddus?
No, he was not asking anything. He's just asking for money.
Okay. Maybe God has changed his ways now.
Maybe.
He would go and buy the laddu from wherever he wants.
That could be possible.
Okay. So who else would want to go? Ellen, are you ready now?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, my college day story is this. I used to much talk with my seniors. What happened? I just first day I'm going to college. Just I'm while going, just asked one girl, "What is your name?" Like that. I'm the first year person. She is third year. I asked her. She told this is so and so like that. Then I went to my classroom and sat there. Suddenly, during the interval, some group came. How you ragged actually your first year? How you ragged third year, final year girl like that? I not ragged, just I asked actually. I seen her, she's standing, just I asked like that. Then lot of friends, reason all local mates, my seniors, all there actually came and told actually, he is my friend only. Like that, local means we'll all know, right? Actually, that person. So like that, first I got in interaction with my first day of my college. So we used to lot of things actually. We are roam. So in college like that, I have enjoyed. So suddenly we thought actually evening while sitting, okay, we can go one trip. So just we are sat there, just we are thinking we don't have money, we don't know where to go, how to go, with whom to go, like that we don't know anything. Just we are thinking, so that we thought, okay, we need to put some amount, 500 each, 500 like that. Then one of my friend told actually one person is working business he is doing, so he will have money, we will take him also. So myself, one more friend, next to one more person, he have vehicle, but the vehicle is not good condition. He told actually if we are doing 2000, that vehicle can be repaired, but I don't know when it will stop also. So we can like that we put money again. We started vehicle. I have license, but I don't know how to drive. My friend, how he know drive, but he don't have license. So like that we have started our trip just towards going. We thought okay we can go Ooty like that. Um, but what happened? We don't know route. That time Google and the assistance is not like that. So we went somewhere. Then we asked the locals. They told we were actually great opposite. You are going. You need to stop again towards Ooty means you need to go that route like that. So that time we enjoyed each and every moment. We don't know anything. Just we don't have much money. Also the vehicle when going to stop also we don't know. Just the route also we don't know. Just we are going towards somewhere. But Ooty we went. Just we stopped our vehicle. Just we'll show the towards tree something is there like that. All the tourists will stop. Nothing. Just we'll show like hand something is there like that. Again, we used to sit in Dekki. Police used to stop us. So like that, each and every moment we enjoy. Night we don't know where we're going to take room also. So we plan to sleep in car itself. So suddenly police came. One of my friend, he is speaking to her girlfriend. So suddenly police caught him. He asked, I'm not came alone with my friends. I came like that. All caught to police. Then he told actually, you are students look like, so don't roam like that. You should go to room somewhere. So we told the petrol bunk we have some 300 rupees. We'll put petrol like that. We slept in petrol bunk. One bus is there. They slept there. So that those days I'm remembering. So while coming back also, what actually happened? My hometown and Kodaikanal is somewhat near. I told actually instead of hometown we can go Kodaikanal. So my friends told Ooty computer why you are going Kodaikanal like that. He said just be like that when you go. My friends told actually I have an exam tomorrow. Already you have 1 area, so this is also count one more. No issues. Else we drop you here. From here you can go by bus. We'll go Kodaikanal come like that. So the trip, how we used to go planned trip. That is 100% more than 100% unplanned trip. We enjoyed each and every second. Now also I'm calling friend means they used to tell us how we went actually. That is we still we remembering. Thank you.
That's nice. Hi, Satya. Satya, you're joining us for the first time?
Yes, I'm joining for the first time.
Okay, Satya. Just to give you a little bit of idea of what we are doing in this particular session of Speak Up today, is sharing any story from your life.
Okay.
Once all have shared the story, then I will share the concept of storytelling. How does it go and what are the elements that are a part of creating? While you're communicating, how do you create a particular story? So do you have any story from your life which you would want to share?
I'm not prepared for
story. That's okay. That's okay. No worries. Even if you're not prepared, how much ever you can. That's perfectly fine. If you wish to.
I just came as an impromptu. Uma had just invited, so I just came.
Okay.
So there's nothing in mind. But yeah, if I have to just share something from my end.
Any memory, any childhood memory, anything which is something very close to your heart, which you remember.
Okay. So this is something like a childhood memory, as in I am a trained classical dancer, and I was training under my Guruji Srimati Ratna Supriya Ramohan, and very much attached to her and her teachings and all. Yeah, I was very much taking her blessings and seeking and learning. And it so happened that I could not pursue it for a long time because of the distance, and moved on with my education, and somehow I that there was a kind of void that I could not take it forward, and that emptiness was there, and I definitely always longed, like it has been years, like for a very long time I have always wanted that I want to pursue or get back to my classes or dance classes. And she is married and she was living in Chennai. Whenever I went there, I used to meet her, but it was not practically possible that she would come here and take classes. And yeah, it so happened that somewhere I was very deep down attracting my dance classes and my teacher, and she happened to actually come back to Bangalore. Of course, she is based out of Chennai, but she comes down to Bangalore once in a while, and she comes, and now she is juggling between Chennai and Bangalore, and now she has resumed her classes, and I am so grateful and happy. This is, I think, somewhere, what I was trying to get was how universe, or the law of attraction works out when you really want from the bottom of the heart that sooner or later you will get it. It is about the frequency, and I'm so happy that she vibed and she is here, and I'm getting back to my classes and I get to practice, and I'm so happy and grateful to my myself and my body that I'm able to even practice, or I'm able to, a gratitude to, that aspect that health is also giving me that way that I can get back to my classes and practice. So I am completely like, when you shared, when you told, okay, this is one thing, because recently it was her birthday and we had a very, very good get together. It was her 60th birthday. And after like my batchmates, like after 30 years, we were all meeting up. After 30 years, meeting up with all my initial batchmates was a wonderful experience. It was something which we thoroughly enjoyed. And yeah, so this was fresh in my mind. So I just thought of sharing it. And yeah, so it is all I felt. One is the gratitude, and the other is the law of attraction, which was always there in deep somewhere, that thing. And those vibrations just, I felt, yeah, she could feel it, or I rather, whatever. But she coming close, coming back to Bangalore is something I really, really, indebted to her. Yeah. Thank you.
That's an
Thank you so
amazing
much
story.
for allowing me, giving me this opportunity to share this. I mean, I'm feeling really happy sharing this, very happy, in fact. Yeah.
That's amazing. The open mics are for that actually, so that you can come share your stories and connect with people a little more. So,
Right, right.
all of us have spoken now. Just to give you a little bit idea of what is storytelling and what are the basic elements and where do you really use storytelling, right? Normally we think that storytelling is something for kids, it is not something for us. But do we actually realize that storytelling can in fact be the most effective way to connect with people and communicate what we are feeling, right? Whenever you go to a corporate presentation, don't we always go back to the numbers and start telling a story that this is how the company was established, this is how we grew it, this is how things happen, and so much more. So there is a story behind everything that is happening in our life. I have read this thing somewhere which clearly said that memories are so beautifully marked in our mind, right from the birth till the end. The little tidbits, they all join to create these wonderful stories and the memories that we don't forget. But have we ever thought of how do they come back? And this was something which really connected to me, because sometimes we don't even think about a particular memory or a story, but it still does come back when we have to tell it to somebody. Now, how can you make it more effective in a story format is something which I'm going to share with you in crux, not too much of detail, because that would probably need a whole session. But let's understand that whenever we talk about a story, there are a few elements that are always a part of a story, right? The first element of any story has to be a character. When you were sharing your stories with me, either you, your friends, your relative, your husband, your something or the other, or your teacher, somebody was a character which was accompanying you in that story, right? That sometimes there are stories in which you yourself will be the central character. Now, how do you beautify this character is simple, that you tell the details about that particular character, right? If I have to enhance me as a character, when you see towards me, you don't know who I am. How do I design? How do I decorate this character of what I'm talking about? If anybody of you remember, in Panchtantra stories or many other stories, they had very clear definition of how the character looks like. 6 feet tall, huge, bulky, with big eyes, short nose, or something like that. They always have this specification of that character, which made us imagine how that character would look like. Even now, when I listen to stories, not as kid, but when I go and deliver story, I always try to explain how my character looks. Maybe he's an introvert, a shy person, an extrovert, always mingling with others, looks tall and probably something like that, looks shabby, anything. It can be anything which defines how your character looks. And why is it so important in telling a story is because a third person or the second person who's listening to your story does not know what to imagine in that character. Probably, if you do not define your character, I might imagine it to be totally contrast to who you really think it was, and that will take away the context of the story from it. Right? If I say somebody says that a particular lady used to beat her husband like anything, the imagination of that husband's character for me would be somebody who will be very lean, who would not speak out, who will mumble or stuff like that. But what if that husband is a 6 feet huge jumbo man and still getting beaten up by his wife? So that is why the character of the story and the definition of the character of how he or she looks is extremely important. The second thing which forms an important part of telling a story, whenever you're creating a story for anything, is the plot. Right? What was the plot? You've all seen movies, right? So there is always a plot. There is either a villain, a hero, there is some probably dons which are working, and then this hero fights the dons and goes back and wins the princess and stuff like that. Now, I remember the first time I ever thought about a plot was in a game called Mario, which I used to play in my childhood. Right? So the Mario was a video game, but had a beautiful plot, because there was this Mario who used to keep fighting and keep fighting the enemies and troubles and all. And the end goal was to reach the princess and find the princess. So it had a plot throughout. But if you really want to try it, you can go to any movie. Any good movie will always have a very clear plot. And that is why, for example, when Satya was speaking today, she has a clear plot that, there was a time when she was into Kathak and she missed it. And then somehow she got the teacher back and she is practicing it now, and everything worked out so beautifully into her story. So that was her plot. Now, the third important thing, which I've already told, but it is called the exposition. So exposition is nothing but you have a character, you have a plot. But where do you get this character into the plot? How do you disclose this particular character into the plot is something which creates excitement. Okay, I will not go into technical word, but understand the concept. For example, if you see a movie, sometimes the camera will be focused on the shoes of the hero, right? Slowly the hero is coming and the camera is focused on the shoes, and suddenly there is a punching happening and the hero comes into exposition of a particular plot, right? And that's when it is revealed. It's kind of a reveal that this is what it is. Now, when, for example, when Uma ma'am started telling her story, she revealed that person, that particular exposition of the character was later when she told that it was my loved one. But who was the loved one? She told towards the end of her story that it was her husband, where she was wanting to send that particular letter to. Right? So this was the exposition, the display of a particular character. Then if you go forward, there is also a conflict, which is a part of the story sometimes, but is more appealing if there is. So for example, in Uma ma'am's story, there was a conflict. She wanted to send a letter, but she did not know how to do it. She had to plan that whole situation. That was the conflict in her story. In Satya's story, the conflict was she had left doing Kathak. The teacher has shifted to Chennai. She does not know how to reach that particular teacher. She doesn't want to go to somebody else because she's so connected to that teacher. Now it's a conflict for her. What do I do? How do I go forward? And that is how the conflict forms the interesting part, I would say, of the story, because that's when you reach the climax. Why this climax is so important in story is very simple. Creating an excitement. Right? Sometimes you must have seen in a lot of books, a lot of movies, that they would create a scenario. Till then you feel, oh no, what will happen now? Yeah, and that's the climax. That's where the story will finally show you a result that will come into picture. I remember watching one such movie, or many such movies, I would say, especially the sports-based movies, all will have it. Dhoni movie, the movie based on Dhoni had it. or probably Chak De India is one movie I remember. Till the last, it was a climax. You don't know whether that goal will happen or not. You know, you're literally biting your teeth. That is the climax part of it, where you show the worst possible outcome, where you think the worst possible outcome, and then the actual reveal of or the solution that is a part of the story happens. So a solution can be that like Uma ma'am sent the letter through somebody, she could find somebody, or probably, you know, like Satya probably got her teacher and now she's occasionally coming, all of this, right? So these are few important parts. Now you can also include themes in your stories. If you remember in childhood, our parents used to always have themes and settings to a story. So there was a jungle, there was a lion, there was a rabbit, and there was so much more, right? So there was a whole setup that was put into picture to tell that particular story. So these are few elements of storytelling which you can use. Now let's understand when and how do you use it, because that's the most important part, right? I might use all of this but not know where to use. So imagine you are putting forward a particular plan of action in your workplace, right? Suppose you have a job where you have to give a presentation or a sales page or anything. How do you create the story? Madhu, for example, if you have to sell a particular vehicle, it's a very famous vehicle. A good person has kind of done the promotion for it. How do you think you would, what will be your plot? What will be your character? Who will be your character into the story?
So I have to sell, correct?
No, I am just asking you, give me these answers. Who do you think will be the character in that story? If you have to sell a car, which is being created by somebody very famous, say, a celebrity.
Yeah, Dhoni.
Yeah, so who will be the character of the story? Who will be the character of the story?
This salesperson.
Okay, right. So it becomes very important for us to understand the character. Who do we need to have as the central character? Now, in this particular scenario, a salesperson is the part of the plot, the setup, but the central character would be your car. The car which you have to sell. Have you ever been to a showroom of a bike or a car? What do? They keep the bike or the car as the central idea. It has this features, it looks this, it does this, this is this speed, this engine, horsepower, all of this. The whole context remains on the car. Now, after they have created this character, this particular detail of the car, after that, they will go on to creating a plot or a setup. Are sir, you don't even know Dhoni has promoted this car, sir. Now they are creating that particular complex, that context for you. Now, the next, where the conflict comes into picture. What is the conflict? Sir, imagine what if your neighbor is going in the same car and you miss this chance. It is going on discount. Now the conflict comes in your mind. They are creating that conflict. What if somebody else gets this particular car? And they will also give you a solution at the same point of time. How? Sir, it is going on heavy discounts right now. It is the latest model that you can get into the market. You can make the neighbors jealous if you buy this one. So that is how a salesperson creates the whole setup, creates the character, which is the car at that point of time, creates a conflict that if you miss it, you are losing it, and then gives you a solution of what you can do about it. Right? Now imagine, so Satya, I'll just take your example in this case. When you dance, do you think that when you're dancing on a particular song, say if I tell you you are dancing on a Shiv Tanda Stotam, do you think you have all of this there?
I didn't get you. I didn't get the...
So what I'm trying to say is, suppose when you dance, right? Suppose you're dancing on a Shiv Tanda Stotam. Yeah. Do you think you have all these elements in that as well?
Your voice is breaking. I'll just keep my video off.
Yeah, sure.
Your voice is breaking. I'm not able to hear you. Just a minute. Just a minute.
I audible to others, or is it cracking for all? Audible.
But my net issue. Now, if you can just repeat, I didn't get you.
Yeah. So what I wanted to check was, when you dance a particular kind of strotam or something, say you are dancing on a Shiv Tandav strotam, do you think that all these elements are a part of that as well, that dance as well? That song, that particular song which is there?
Yes, because there's a lot of emotions which will be there, and you are connected, so the emotions will be there. Yes, all these things will be there. You start with an intro, and then final this thing will be there. Yes.
So I'll give you an example of how this setup is there in this particular context, right? So when you talk about a particular Shiv Tandav Stotam, it tells you about Shiva first. So the character is made, right? It tells you about this, the kind of the setup where he sits, he holds that damru. Sorry?
The description, the environment.
The description, environment, the emotion he's going through inside, and the conflict where he's terribly angry, that part, everything is displayed in this particular context. Now let's understand one more example. Probably Ellen. Ellen, when you were talking about that particular trip, do you think you had all of these in your story?
No.
Okay. Which ones did you have?
What a vehicle I used to see, what are the shops or something, what I am observing, that I felt that's along with me. I'm concentrated on something only, what I am doing like that.
Okay.
Other things.
I'll help you make this understand better. So when Ellen talked about his friends, their plan, so he talked about the friends as such, what kind of friends they were trusting, they were discussing, all that kind of a thing. So that were the characters in his story. All his friends were the characters in his story, right? The setup was that they were planning to go for a particular trip. They were trying to hire a bike and stuff like that. Was the whole setup of the story. The conflict came when they were planning to go for Kodaikanal. It did not work out. What are we supposed to do? And the problems that they had in between, right? The solution part came when the friends told that, okay, we can drop you and you can carry on with your part, and probably we can carry on with our parts, right? The theme of the story was travel altogether. That was the central idea that was flowing through this particular theme. Now, how do you use these kind of setups? When you have understood these setups can be created, how do you go and use it outside? The simple answer to that is, be it sales, be it presentation, be it talking to your juniors or seniors in the office, you can always connect with these stories to them. If you will have all these elements in these stories, it will be a central connection point for them, right? Now, when I have told you the elements of the story, try to go back, the stories that you have told today, try to find these elements in your story of what were the elements. How it will help you is, next time, take up any scenario of your day-to-day life when you conversed with a neighbor, when you conversed with your wife, husband, kids, anybody, and see if you would have put it in with these formats, wouldn't it have been a better option to talk? Right? So pick up any scenario which happened to you maybe 3-4 days back. Try to put what you answered in that particular scenario and what you could have answered in that particular scenario, and see whether it is a difference or not. Okay. So till then, I would say this was the session of Open Mic today. I loved listening to your memories and your stories. Keep creating more stories, because it's amazing fun and the best connection you can have with yourself as well as others. Hoping to see you all again in the next session of Open Mic. Till then, good night and enjoy your days.